I came across this article from Fortune and I want to discuss this because women need to understand that financial planning is family planning is financial planning. And if you do decide to have children, it will impact your finances long term, not just while the kids are in childcare, it will impact you long term. According to this title, not a single mother can escape the motherhood penalty, even breadwinners, new study finds. Okay, so many parents say that having children is a priceless gift, but not everyone has to put their money where their mouth is, especially fathers. Much has been studied on the financial and professional hits that women take when having a child, but new research claims to have analyzed roughly 100 times the data that past studies have done on the topic that hints at a major driving force behind the motherhood penalty, America's cultural stereotypes regarding work and parenthood. Douglas Allman, Yi Chang, and Cecilia Machado examined more than 800,000 earnings reports from the U.S. Unemployment Insurance Program during 1990 to 2010 to find out how much women actually lose when they become mothers. Okay, and they also examined different scenarios which motherhood penalty might be smaller. They called what they found discouraging. It hits all mothers in America regardless of their pay, company, or education, and the motherhood penalty happens almost instantaneous, whereas the arrival of a firstborn child doesn't have an effect on a man's earnings. Moms experience a 51% dock in pay, equivalent to an average of $8,000 annually. The motherhood penalty only persisted as the child aged. Researchers found that 6 years after the first child's birth, the pay gap between the father and mother slightly increased. It didn't matter if the mother worked for a woman or at a mostly woman-dominated firm. It also didn't matter the size of the company the mother worked for, or if she went to college. And it didn't matter if the mother also happened to be the breadwinner in the family. What's striking about the motherhood penalty is how universal it seems. Even when the female partner out earns her male partner, and we might expect the lower paid partner to step up in the home, we find still larger motherhood penalty around 60% of earnings. In Sweden, by contrast, Alma says there is no motherhood penalty when the woman out earns her male partner. The Swedish pattern makes more economic sense. The man likely has a lower opportunity cost, and they have different cultural expectations. This is sad right here. There is a culture of U.S. dads not contributing as much childcare as in other countries. I'll do a part 2 to continue this article. Continuing this conversation about the motherhood penalty. So this man Allman says, there is a culture of U.S. dads not contributing as much childcare in other countries. He said, pointing to his own experience as a father. While based in New York City, his wife is Swedish and their daughters have dual citizenship in the two countries. He says he was always struck by how few dads were at the playground in New York City. And the assumption is that he was just filling in. The difference is visible in Stockholm, he says, where you see as many dads as moms caring for their children. A Harvard study found that mothers are often less likely to be hired and then usually offered lower salaries than women without children. This is why I say family planning is financial planning. When you do not have children, it does not impact your finances as much as moms. Okay, and a survey from the TIAA finds that they have almost 30% less saved for retirement than men on average, in part due to choices regarding taking care of or providing for their children. America's workforce continues to fail when it comes to supporting working moms, says Pam Cohen, the Chief Research and Analytics Officer at the Mom Project. The need for support extends well beyond the limited early stages of parenthood and yet tends to drop off precipitously beyond that point in time in which mothers return from parental leave. Women keep talking about how hard it is to find childcare that is affordable, and it takes a hit. The shortcomings of the childcare system disproportionately affect the financial well-being of women, single parents, parents in poverty, families of color, and immigrant families. More affordable childcare has long been touted as a solution to the motherhood penalty in America, but that's only half the battle. The other half of the battle, the fact that our culture is rooted in sexism, and racism, and we view mothers as the default parent. We do not put the same cultural pressure on men to be parents as we do on women, and it's all coming to a head. Also, I would like to point out that the limitations on childcare, they don't want it to be cheaper, because if it were cheaper, it would actually help black and brown women. And they don't want that because we need to go to work, and that is an equalizer. Listening to this article, you would understand that childcare is an equalizer, and we do not want women to be equal to men, because men are the ones that are not particularly impacted by by parenthood. And if we give minorities access to inexpensive childcare, then they would come up in a white supremacist country. So they don't want that either. So there are lots of reasons why there is no affordable childcare right now, and it's impacting the birth rate.